Good afternoon, everyone. I hope everyone's having a good day. Coming back after the scrimmage, I thought it's been a good last couple of days. Yesterday, going through meetings, making some of the corrections, seeing, more in detail the critical elements of correction that we have to make. Whether it's fundamentally, communication-wise, going back and watching the scrimmage. Just the efficiency of our communication. I thought it was great. Great work, and being able to see guys have to operate and understand the situational awareness, but we've got to do that at a faster process. So really tried to push the tempo. Here even today to almost overemphasize us getting our alignments, the proper details, the proper first step fundamentals, and then just continuing to work on our execution. And you had. I thought there's some physicality that was on display today, but also challenge the guys that we've got to continue to grow in our toughness and in all aspects. We've got guys that you get halfway through spring ball and your bodies start getting sore, and there's things that you've got to continue to work through, and just bring the right mindset and approach, because every day and every rep is critical. It's critical for this program, critical for each individual. We're all trying to establish and define the role that we want here, moving forward with this year's team. And so, really pleased with some of the efforts that I'm seeing. You look at the defensive front. I mean, guys like Fabian Lovett, I think he's pushing harder than he's ever pushed. Starting to see. I thought he had a really good scrimmage. Jermaine Johnson, was really flashing, and not only just the passing game, but also in the run game with his physicality. Dennis Briggs, I think those guys are really coming along and showing good leadership. Among the defensive front, you're seeing some real positive steps there at linebacker. I think Stephen Dix is showing himself as a guy that. Got great experience this last year, but really working to take the next step with Amari Gaynor, Emmett Rice, DJ Lundy. Those guys are. There's a lot of competition. Kalen Deloach. I mean, guys that are competing to define their role. And that's it. That's what you need to see. But as a whole, I thought some more good. It was a good situational work today, but we just have to continue to push and come to work every day, maximizing the opportunity.
First question will be Vernon Seminoles from All 247.
Hi, Mike. You mentioned Fabian Lovett. I was going to ask about him. It did seem like he flashed a few times during the scrimmage. You mentioned that he's been performing well all spring. I guess specifically, what is he doing well to consistently stand out?
I think Fabian. You look at his career. He started as his previous institution was basically playing a zero nose. Kind of two gap technique. Thought process, coming in last year, really had to learn, a new system. Obviously, focus on the fundamentals technique. I think Odell's done a really nice job with them and building that relationship, and you're just seeing the continued growth. He's in, much better shape now than what he was at any point this last year, but he's moving well. He's a strong, explosive young man, and I like his mindset. And we got to continue to push him and continue to develop him. But I think he's making some positive strides, and he definitely flashed throughout the scrimmage, and had some good plays again once again today.
After you were able to go back and watch the film, on some of those goal line plays, I think Fabian was probably one of them, but who were some of the guys that stood up and made some of those plays for the goal line defense?
There was one of the great things about just how things worked out in the scrimmage was, there was a set where we had basically a six-play sequence. There was a third down penalty that forced us, a first and goal at I think it was the 2-yard line, and so it was collectively it was a little bit of everybody. I mean, there was good plays by linebackers, safeties. The defensive front. I thought you saw those guys that I mentioned. Fabian, Dennis, Derek McClendon is continuing to grow up. Jermaine. I mean, that was when you get down to that point. I mean, it is mindset plays. And I thought our guys did a good job of responding. Today we put them in another situation just like that, where we put the offense at the 10-yard line, and they had 3 plays that they had to score, and I think it was the second sequence that we had that situation. Your ball got down to the 1-yard line, and we had another big play that was created by defensive penetration up front, and it was definitely good to see. So and that's one of those things that during spring ball, it's we are one team out there, and so you look at the positives that happen on one side, and you've got to correct and execute better on the other. But just seeing guys, you really develop that mindset that when ball, we don't ever want the ball down there, but if it happens, that we're going to keep it out of the end zone.
Hey, Coach, keeping to the theme of the defensive line, we saw 3 of the guys you had last year in Pro Day yesterday, so you got some big shoes to fill at that position. Guess first of all, you mentioned a lot of those guys, how encouraging it is to see those guys who are going to be stepping into bigger roles play this well. And what more do you need to see at that position before you guys officially get on the field in the fall?
Just continued development. You look inside. That group, they basically were the guys at the second half of the season. All of our defensive tackles' noses, they've got great experience. Robert Cooper, I think I'm seeing him take the next step in just his effort. He's definitely in much better shape. He's still a big human being, when it comes to his weight-wise, but he's moving better. Really trying to develop his game. I'll tell you a guy that I'm excited about that I absolutely think has a extremely bright future is Josh Farmer. To see him, a high school defensive end that's already transitioning. He's gained 15, 20 pounds since he's been here already, and so he is he's already working down inside, primarily at 3 technique, and he had some extraordinary plays. He's still learning on what he's doing, but you seeing that flash, that toughness, and I'm excited about his growth. But at the end position, Jermaine is a young man that we think the sky's the limit for him and what he can do. We've seen the production at a high level. I know I mentioned Derek McClendon, who's really coming along. Keir Thomas, he's battling through some things, getting healthy. But we think that he's a guy that can really bring a great dynamic to our defensive front. And there's some we need guys like Quayshawn Fuller, Tay Williams, guys, Josh Griffiths that have to step up and continue to provide and really define their role of what that's going to be here as we move forward. But I think the competition is great, and I'm excited about the direction that's going.
Mike, going back to Josh Farmer, you mentioned he's been standing down. He does seem like he's really, really quick for a defensive tackle. I guess what's the balance between maybe wanting to put a little bit more weight on him and then wanting to kind of maintain the quickness? And do you have like a sweet spot where you're looking at for him weight-wise?
That's the great thing about our strength conditioning program is, the body weight, that's something that, we'll talk about because it naturally happens, but, we're not going to substitute explosive power, speed, for just a body weight number. And, there's guys that, you see the strength that's coming on and just the natural physical development that, you're going to see the increase in body weight. But, we want guys that are with an attack mindset and explosive movers. And Josh, he's put on weight, but he's moving as good now as since the very first day that he got here. As he's continuing to grow into his body. But you see a guy like Dennis Briggs. When Dennis first got here, was a defensive end, and then has kind of moved himself down to playing the 3 technique. And and I think Dennis has a chance to be a really special player as he continues to grow and develop. But Josh is kind of in that same mindset, and we want speed on our defensive front, but aggressiveness and a physical, explosive type of player that can obviously make those impactful plays.
A couple times during the scrimmage, it looked like Jordan Young was trying to kind of encourage the offense to show more energy during breaks and things like that. Is that something that you guys and the staff are encouraging, or is that something that Jordan's just taken on himself?
I mean, it's something that we made a big emphasis of throughout the off season, and really, I know even in our tour of duty circuit of what we were doing. I mean, that was one of the big points of emphasis, is that, I mean, there's going to be times that we're on that field, and if we're on the road, I mean, there's not going to be anybody else there giving us an encouraging word. We've got to be in control of our mindset, our approach, and we've got to go out there, and when all things are going against us, who's going to help keep that energy level where it needs to be, so we can go perform our best. And momentum's going to affect the teams that allow it to affect them, and it just takes one positive play to be able to change that. But it's about the mindset, it's about the encouragement. But on the flip side of it, we don't necessarily just need cheerleaders. We need guys that are out there and that are showing that encouragement in how they play, and inspirational attitude by the nature of what they're willing to give. But it's always great to be able to hear that as we're going through. And I think Jordan's a guy that is really kind of buying into that. And there's a lot of guys on our team that I think we're taking some real positive steps, because that was something that I didn't think we did a very good job of this past year, and I thought it improved as the season went on. But just to know that, we got each other's back, and it might not always look pretty, but we're going to be there, and we're going to be able to respond through the course of whatever comes our way.
Coach, having the benefit of being able to review the film after the scrimmage, you talked a little about the quarterbacks before, but again, once you looked at the film, what are some things that were encouraging that you saw Saturday, and maybe some things you think we still need to really emphasize as some practice and work on the next couple of weeks?
There were some things, just with our eyes, that we got to continue to get better at. I know. Even like McKenzie, there's two plays in particular that just didn't get his eyes right, but even within a couple of those plays, was still able to make something happen. And Jordan, you're really the same thing. I'm really encouraged with the growth that I'm seeing from Tate. I think that he got some extensive work with the second group, and I thought he made guys better when he was out there. Made some big throws. Did some really nice things. But I'm excited about that quarterback position, because all of them, if you get a clean pocket, if everything's the way it's supposed to be, they have the ability to be able to locate the ball. They have the ability to make every throw. But the thing that's really exciting about them is to see the ability they have to extend plays when things break down, when it's not always how you draw it up on the board. Understanding and having confidence in how they can extend plays and make things happen. Regardless of what they have to face. And so I like the playmaking ability that we're seeing. It's just becoming more efficient and effective just with the progress of our eyes and some aspects of it. But I like where we're going.
I was going to ask about a couple of the guys that haven't been suiting up lately, and I was wondering if you could give us an update on Demore Tate, and obviously Leonard Warner looks like he's out, and then how Thomas Schrader came out of that scrimmage.
Yeah, those three guys are going to, I'm not going to get real in-depth in it, but they're going to be out for a little bit of extended period. We'll kind of continue to evaluate that, as we go, and potentially give an update at a further time.
All right, last one will be back to Gene.
Hey, Coach, I want to ask you a little bit about the offense again. A couple times we've spoke to you and Coach Dillingham, and some of the practice we've seen. We keep seeing these young wide receivers jump out. Whether I know McLean had a big day, Burrell, Portier. Why are these guys jumping out? Sometimes you see flashes, but to hear a young guy's names day after day after day, what is it about these guys that are making them produce so well?
It makes you feel good, doesn't it, Gene? Yeah, it makes me feel good, actually. So, no, I mean, they're talented young men. They have the right mindset, the right approach, and that's what I really like the receiver room that we're getting. I mean, you got guys that are older and Keyshawn and Ontario, and I mean, like you look at the guys that have had that experience, even Jordan Young, like we mentioned earlier, but then the youth that's there. Darren Williamson is another young man, Ja'Kai Douglas, who's transitioned to receiver. I mean, these guys, they have talent, but they are hungry to grow. They're hungry to take coaching. And it's exciting to see their want to, and then allowing their ability to take over. I mean, I think we've done a really nice job in the evaluation aspect of who we went after and been able to attract. But then this is also the tempo which we play with, and I guess the versatility of the receiver position is we're gonna have guys that are gonna be able to have like I said earlier, to kind of define their role and be able to make a great impact for this team. So the competition is great, but there's some talented young men in that room, and excited to see them show up day in and day out to make those plays because we're definitely going to need it.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank